Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ashish and Ryan Sports and Political Podcast. We are with you today on this Sunday afternoon after the Final Four. Didn't give you the picks yesterday, but I will definitely make sure to give you my national championship picks today. See, the thing with basketball rather than football, it's much easier to analyze because there aren't as many variables to consider. Like, obviously, the most important one is whether whether uh, shots are falling or not. But in something like football, it's more tactical, whereas some plays may not be called that are called in big games strictly for the purpose of big games. Tactics change based on opponents, more so in football than they do in basketball. And that is why when you talk about basketball or you look at matchups, the consensus opinion through experts, even through regular folks, is pretty consistent. Like last night, Michigan was going to beat Loyola because they have better athletes and bigger, stronger, more physical guys. That's why they won the game. Also, why was Villanova able to win? They have 5 guys that can shoot the three-pointer at any time. Usually 5 starters. Kansas doesn't have that. And they play more pick and roll rather than spacing the floor. And it was pretty obvious to see from the beginning, with it being a 22-4 game to start. It ended up being a 16-point game at the end of it all. So, observations from last night, that's basically it. What doomed Loyola was that they weren't able to shoot the way they had been coming into the game, which they needed to do. And just Mo Wagner on the offensive glass. Just bigger, taller, stronger than everybody else on the court. He had a career high 15 rebounds, 20 points, and they end up winning the game by double digits. But everyone knows it was much closer than that for a majority of the basketball game. The second game of the Final Four, again, Villanova has 5 guys that can shoot at any level of the court. Jalen Brunson can attack, get 2 defenders on him, kick. The ball never sticks. They pass it very well. We all know that it's not something. It's not something that we don't know. Kansas's players took more, and I have taken more. If you notice this, players like Vic and Malik Newman take more contested shots. And the reason why was because Villanova played man-to-man. They didn't play the 3-2 zone with a 3-2 zone like Duke did. And Kansas cannot attack them like they did Duke. Because while Duke plays two big men. Kansas, sorry, well, Duke plays two primarily post big men. Villanova plays five guys that can switch on, that can play outside, that are athletic, that are long. I mean, their three is more like a five. And Mikal Bridges that can play out on guards, has guard-like skills as a player like Spellman, Pascal. These guys are long, rangy, and reasonably quick. So that's why they were able to defend Kansas the way they did, especially when it's man on man, and it didn't provide the opportunities that the Duke personnel and their defense did. So you didn't see a lot of breaking down or collapsing. It was a one-on-one game, and it was difficult for Kansas to get a rhythm going because they couldn't penetrate the way they wanted to. They couldn't get open shots. Players started forcing shots. Open shots versus contested shots, that was the difference in the game, obviously. And Villanova blows out Michigan. Villanova blows out Kansas. Now, this game on Monday night is going to be very interesting because I think Michigan matches up very well with Villanova in certain respects. Okay. Chris Matthews, I think is his name. He is a great one-on-one scorer based on what I saw. Can take you off the dribble. Can get his own shot. That's very important. Right? Mo Wagner can take you off the dribble. He can stretch out to the three. Rahman, I think he looks 6'5", 6'6" on the basketball floor, and his length is going to be a major advantage against a smaller point guard. Smaller point guard, 6'4" point guard. His length is going to be a major advantage against someone like a Jalen Brunson, who plays pesky physical defense in order to rise up and take shots over him. That size and that frame is going to be very important. Jalen Brunson is 6'3". He looks smaller on the court, but still that inch is going to make a difference in terms of the ability to make contested shots. Also, see, the Villanova players have better athletes than the Michigan players do, and vice versa. What I end up thinking is going to be the difference is Villanova has 7 guys that can score. All 5 on the offensive. All 5 starters can score. Can take you off the dribble, can make moves. And with Michigan, they weren't able to put the ball in the basket if it wasn't for Wagner and Matthews. Again, I think Abdul-Rahman and Simmons will be able to shoot better. But I think part of the advantage that both of those guys had was their athletic and physical advantage over the Loyola players. The Villanova players are more filled out, so the effect of Wagner, the effect of Matthews, will be diminished. I think that even if their output is diminished, that's going to affect the outcome greatly, simply because of how versatile the offensive Villanova is. One thing that Loyola was not able to do against Michigan was create offense individually, off the dribble, and they weren't able to do anything if it wasn't to the big guy or out of like a set play involving multiple screens and back cuts. Villanova is not going to have that issue because I think Jalen Brunson is the combination of quick and strong. He can get to the bucket. He'll be able to collapse the defense. I don't think, though, because of the length and athleticism of Michigan's entire team, that they'll be able to collapse them that much and get as wide open shots. But Jalen Brunson's the best point guard in the country, and he's going to prove it. Abdul Rahman is going to shoot well. Simmons is going to shoot well. Wagner and Matthews will also play well, but not as well as they did against Loyola. Both of these teams are very similar in their makeup, how they defend, how they try and move the ball. So I think it's going to be a very close game. At the end of the day, Villanova just has more guys that can score, and the point guard is going to get them more opportunities because of his speed and aggression, along with his body strength. So, what am I going to say? Let's say 85-79 Villanova. Again, I think it's going to be close because of the length and the challenges on defense that their individual scorers will provide to Villanova. But Villanova has 8 guys that can do this. And they're also a generally more athletic team, which is why I have them winning tomorrow night, 85-79. That's your national championship score. How many minutes are we on here? What are we on, the 14th, 13th minute? Going on 14. Alright, that's the national championship. Reminder, coverage starts 7 p.m. on TBS. It's going to be a fun one, and I hope it's not as bad as the semifinals were. I hope we're in for a classic. Everyone does. The similarities of the two teams, of individual matchups, of the way they play, it's going to shape up to be a good one. Only time will tell if it's going to be a classic. But it's definitely going to be a good game tomorrow night. You know, I underrated Villanova. I didn't project them to go this far. I had them losing in the second round. Good for me, huh? So I hadn't seen them play all year, and I didn't think that any of these teams were very consistent due to losses to unranked teams and the topsy-turviness of the poll this year. But Villanova is the real deal. I've seen them in the tournament. They can score 8 deep. They're able to play man-to-man defense because of the athletes they've recruited. They are the real deal. I would be shocked if they don't win. Again, I think it's close because of the similarities between the teams, players, and how they play. But Villanova has better athletes and has better shot making. And that I think that's going to be the difference in the game tomorrow night. Villanova going on 2 national championships in the last 3 years. I shouldn't say it what a turnaround, but they've become a household program in America. They kind of fell off for a little bit in terms of not being able to win the big one or going to that stage or reaching that stage. And now that they've done it in successive years, made the national championship, if they win, it's going to put them in the class of Duke, in the class of Kentucky. And this is another discussion for another day, but speaking of Kentucky, they've been able to recruit so well. Yet it's only translated in 1 national championship in the time that Calipari's been there in almost, 9, 10 years now? Where do we really put him in the pantheon of coaching? Is it time to move Jay Wright up the list over a John Calipari? What about a Bill Self? Where do we judge him? Because they haven't won in 10 years. I think that's going to be for tomorrow's show. Legacy comparison of major college basketball coaches. If John Beilein wins tomorrow, where do we put him in the stratosphere of coaching hierarchy? But that's a discussion for another day. Up next, should the Giants trade Odell Beckham for only 1 first-round pick? And if so, who should they pick? As well as the Trump presidency, hard on North Korea, China, and South Korea, the effects of this on our economy and our diplomacy. All up next on the Ashish and Ryan Sports and Political Podcast. Coming to you live from here in Ohio.